thing I'm telling other managers right
Good morning. Good morning. I was looking for a song, but I can't find it, and I don't want to be late. I just want to stick to 10 minutes and not go beyond 15 minutes in this conversation. Again, good morning. This is Conversation for Men. And I've been doing these conversations for men for the past week now. So I'm trying to see if I can find a consistent vibe to them, ideally in the mornings because my mind is fresh and I can interact before I start all of my other coaching activities for the day. For those who don't know me, my name is Nomveli Sombanga. I'm a founder of Teen Coaching. I specialize in coaching teenagers, preteens, and also working together with parents to understand your preteens and your teenagers. I've been in the field for more than 30 years, and I consider myself quite skilled in the work that I do. I want to have conversations for men mainly because of the stuff that comes up quite a lot in my space in relation to mental well-being and also emotional well-being. And a lot of my conversations are around, it's me calling out to men to say, let's pay more attention to these things. And also it's me saying, there could be a way of supporting you as men in terms of how you grow and evolve in your different roles, as you know that a lot of things are changing in terms of approach, in terms of what we have around us, and how you can be more present emotionally and physically in your kids and your family's lives. So the motivation for this morning's conversation also around emotional well-being and also mental well-being of men and fathers in the home. I came across a post in one of the Facebook groups. One of the things that I want to say to men is that a lot of wives, a lot of girlfriends, a lot of partners have found it easy to join Facebook groups where they can talk about their issues because often they don't have anyone around them to talk to or to support them in things that they are going through with their partners. And I find these spaces quite useful because we get to see what a lot of wives and partners are dealing with. So the context of this one is a mother who has two kids. And with these two kids, the conversation that she's having is that, let me just see if I can quickly read it. So she says, our family is in a difficult place at the moment. My husband is very depressed and in a bad place mentally, resulting in mood swings, really bad temper outbursts, and general despondency and shutting down at home. My little boy, who's 3 years old, is really struggling with this and the tension and upset it is causing at home. He is an amazing and thoughtful, intelligent and loving little boy that has always been willful and pushed boundaries. But recently, he's been listening a lot less, getting angry and frustrated with daddy and the way he talks to me as the mom and the wife. And a lot more emotional. We are having a lot more hysteria and tantrums this last week. I'm really wanting to spend more time filling up his love bucket and just having as much fun as possible this week so that I can recommend some really fun bonding activities and games that we can play. This is the mom and the child. Personally, I'm completely mentally wiped and exhausted. I don't have any help really. And I also have an 8-month-old brother to factor in. So any help and suggestions would be massively appreciated. Thanks in advance. So this is a note that was written by a mom, written by a wife who is really struggling with the despondency and depression, stress that the partner is going through. So what I always found interesting in these spaces, in these support spaces that we often form part of as women, is that it's often the mom who's seeking information to support the husband and the household. I find this quite more often, and this might be a major assumption considering I'm not part of men-based groups on Facebook, because there could be other ways that men are also trying to seek support, so that I don't make assumptions. But in from our perspective, I find this quite a lot, where it's the moms who are trying as best as I can to keep the peace in the household, in terms of ensuring that the kids are okay mentally and emotionally, they are well fed, and then the father or the man is the one who's running around in their head because they don't know what to do. This is what I want to focus on. I find that I wanted to ask, and I'm asking you guys a question that says, when you are not feeling okay, when you are feeling pressed down in your emotions, stress, depression, and there could be various factors that are influencing that. Do you not know when that you know what? I'm really not okay. Are you not aware? And I'm asking these questions because I need men to start asking themselves these questions too. When you are feeling despondent and you're feeling depressed, like everything is caving in on you, do you not feel it when are you not aware? Because then it's going to lead me to say, once you feel that particular way, it's possible that you might not see how it's affecting your kids and how it's affecting your wife or your partner or your girlfriend. You might, or it could be, I'm just focusing on, sorry, I'm thinking about the gender split now in the world we live in, but um, I don't have the benefit of time for me to not be gender specific. I just want to focus on fathers and men, so please allow me. So are you not aware when things are not okay for you mentally and emotionally? It could be possible that you don't know what to do, but do you not have a space where you feel or you can see that how you're feeling is affecting everybody else around in the household? It might be possible for some that truly your awareness is out of shape because of the depression and stress. And I'm using depression and stress because depression needs to be diagnosed as well. So I'm going to I'm going to lean more on stress and depression as a combination, so that we can move to a space where we say depression also needs to be diagnosed, so that you know what to do with it. But what I want to say is, let's question ourselves also, guys. Question yourselves also, gentlemen. If you've lost a job, if business is not going right, if you're not contributing anything to the household financially or otherwise, there's a high chance that you'll be heavily stressed. There is a high chance that you'll be heavily stressed. It doesn't seem fair. It doesn't seem fair that when you don't know what to do, you take out your stress on the next person who's there to support you fully. What I've seen happen quite a lot in this type of scenario is that often the men, be it they're not conscious of how they come across, they tend to pour out all of the stress and despondency on their partners and their kids, to a point where the kids and the partner cannot take it anymore, and then they leave. What it does, though, it leaves you as men in a much more worse state, because you've got no support around you, because you've pushed the support away. This is a part of you pushing the support away. It's also called self-sabotage, when you are a particular way, and then you look at your family and you feel like you don't deserve to have them in your life, or you don't deserve the supporting partner, or you don't deserve these awesome kids. What you then do unconsciously, you do things to push them away. You say things to push them away, to prove to yourself that you're not worthy of being loved by them. And it doesn't help that our society doesn't give you guys any spaces for you to say this is where you go to ask for help. But there are spaces available. You can privately go to a psychologist, privately. You don't have to make a noise about it. You don't have to tell people if you're feeling embarrassed about it as yet, but you can privately go and seek help. You can privately go and see a psychologist. You can privately go and talk to someone, an older man or another man in the community that you trust, to say, listen, I am going through this and I don't know how to handle it. And I'm raising this because you're going to lose your family one way or the other. And your mind is going to say it's because I'm not married, and it's because I don't have money, that's why she left me. No, 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 no. It's not because I'm not married anymore. It's because you were blind to how you were taking out your stress on others and how the impact it was having on your kids. The other thing about this is that in this scenario, the 2-year-old is a boy, and the boy is watching you speak to the mom in a particular way. The boy is watching you pass on your traumas and your angers and your despondency at the world. You're passing it on to your kids. SABC is calling me, so I might have to. Okay, I'm hoping that they will call again in the next 2 minutes. I'll be done here. So you're passing on your all of your drama onto your child because your child is looking at you pour out all of your traumas onto your partner, and your child is absorbing all of that. It's called emotional trauma. And also the thing about emotional trauma is that it doesn't stay in the emotions only, it also sticks to the body as well. That's why you find that kids will throw themselves around trauma, tantrums, drama, because they don't know what to do with this all this tension and trauma, because it affects them physically. It can make other kids sick. You find that you lose your job, you get depressed, there's drama all around, you keep fighting with your wife, and then your kids start falling sick and are common in the household to take them to the hospital. So it becomes a peck on and peck on and peck on of issues and things. So in closing, again, I'm asking you the questions. When you've lost so much that you've been desiring to achieve for yourself and for your family, you are going to feel some type of stress that's going to lead to depression, that's going to lead to some type of blind responses from you that might affect your family in a negative way. Please think of finding ways to find solutions. It is not fair that the wife is the one who's trying to find solutions for you. And when they do, and I've seen this happen quite a lot, when partners bring solutions to their husbands, or they say to the husbands, "You're not treating my child well." Most of the time, the men say, "Don't tell me how to raise my kids." This is quite often, I hear this quite often in my space, where partners or a wife says, "You keep shouting at my child, and yet my child didn't do anything wrong, but you keep saying all of these things to my child." Often the partners say, "Don't tell me how to raise my child. Don't tell me how to be a father." And yet you are blind to how you are coming across and the things that you're giving off that might be harming your kids emotionally and creating insecure kids and kids who don't know where to hide, who will get to school and be people pleasers because they're looking for love, because they're not getting it at home, because Udada is in deep emotional stuff and Mama is trying to keep the peace and not realizing what to do. So, gentlemen, let's pay attention to how we're coming across and also find ways to seek help. Help is always available. Find ways, be proactive in seeking to be okay emotionally for your family to have a good well-being. I hope this helps. If you need me to do more of these conversations, give me topics and give me scenarios, and I'll do some more often of them. And then also a starting point. Maybe let me leave with this as a closing point. If you know you've been this man in your family, it will not kill your chance to sit down with your partner and your kids. It doesn't matter how old your kids are. If they can hear you and understand you, sit down and say to your child, "I have not been feeling well as your dad in the past few months, a few weeks, and I'm trying to get better." You have this conversation with your wife and your partner in the room and your kids in the room. You say, "I have not been feeling well, I have not been doing well, but I'm not trying to do something about it." But you then must do something about it, because it will not help you to give your kids a promise and not keep it. Have a wonderful day.